Hi friends, Sharon from Mad Paper Crush here, and time to do a little planning in my altered book planner. And I am just going through the papers that I'm planning to use. I decided to use my new Fresh Spring kit to get started for the last week of March, and then I'm doing a March wrap-up and an April cover page. So I'm just choosing the weekly style that I wanted to use for the first week that I'm going to do, and I'm cutting that out right now. I decided to use the one that has the letters for the days of the week, so M, T, W, T, F, S, S for Monday through Sunday. And then I'll just go in later and add the actual days onto the little tabs that are there. So now I'm just finding the page that I'm going to get started on, and I also picked one of the background pages to use for the other side where I'm going to add some lists and a little bit of collage. So I'm just giving it a mark now so I know how to cut it down to make it fit within the page that I'm working on, and I'm just going to cut that down to size. Okay, I am just gluing everything down now, the two sides that I was working on, and when I was putting some glue on, I think when I flipped the page over, I got a little glue on the front of that, so I went to grab my little glue eraser block here, and I'm just going to try to get that stickiness off of there so that I don't have to worry about it later. So that little thing works pretty good. I think I got it at the dollar store, and it looks like a little rubber eraser, but it works so great on glue. I love it. And now I'm just going through the ephemera pages and making some decisions about what pieces I want to use for this. So I am going to cut out all the pieces on this page. I think I decided to use the one that looks like a library card, but I figured while I was at it, I would cut out some of the other ones as well so that they would be ready to go if I wanted to use them too. And now I'm just grabbing my little ephemera book here, and I decided to use some of the little dollies that I have. They are little digital dolls from Exquisite Art, and I will link her information down below. She has the most amazing little dolls that I love to add to my different journal spreads and things like that. She has so many different themes, and they are truly just amazing works of art. So I wanted to put one of those in there. I picked one that looked kind of springy. She has a cute little hat on, and her stockings, I think, have little flowers on them, so I thought that would be fun for spring. And then I'm also going through and just cutting out some more pieces of ephemera here. And now I'm just trying to decide where I want everything. So this is kind of the hard part of collage. You have to kind of move things around and, kind of decide where you want things. So you pick out pieces, and that little card with the bulb on it seemed a little big. So I'm cutting out the smaller piece to see if maybe that will work a little bit better. And then I'm also trying to decide if I want to add some of the, or a tab possibly to this one. So because this page was not real busy, I thought it would be fun to add a tab in there. So I'm just going to cut out one of the plain tabs, and I'm going to stamp onto it to add it to the page. And I just decided to stamp the plan on it. I thought that would be just something fun to add. And after I created or put the stamp on my tab, I decided to glue it down. I wanted to put the tab in the middle because I already have a tab at the top. On the left-hand side, you can see it there, the little green tab. So I thought I would do my next tab in the middle, and then you'll see later I'll do one down at the bottom. But I'm just going to add the tab to the right-hand side of the page there. And as I was getting ready to put my journal card down there, I decided to round the edges because I just kind of like the way it sort of softened things up a little bit. And then I'm still sort of moving things around and trying to figure out where to put some of these other pieces of collage. And I really like the doll there in the right-hand side, so I think that's where that one's going to end up. And I decided to add a little bit of something extra, so I pulled out some washi tape, and I'm just going to put that along the bottom for a little bit of contrast. And now I'm just distressing all my pieces to knock the white edge off of them a little bit. And I'm doing the same thing to the doll, and I'll do the little piece as well. And then I will start to glue everything down in the place where I think that I want them. And now, just to finish the week off, I am going to add in my dates, and of course I have to go back to the week before so I know where to start on Monday. For some reason I can't keep that in my mind very good, and I always get nervous that I'm going to write the wrong thing, so I always want to be sure I'm writing the right date on the next one. And then the other thing I wanted to do, of course, is be sure that I ended on the right date. So March has 31 days, so that ends on Wednesday, and then I start April on Thursday. And then in the US here, our Easter is on the 4th, on Sunday the 4th. So I was just making a little note of that there as well. Okay, now I'm going to start my March wrap up and my April cover page. So I'm just marking, I've chosen another background page to use from my Fresh Spring kit, and I'm just marking it so I know where to cut it down. And I pretty much decided to make this one relatively plain. I don't have many more pages in this book, and I also wanted to be sure that my March wrap up had lots of room for journaling. I had a lot of things that I think I'd like to just jot down as sort of memories of the month. My daughter started lacrosse, and my husband and I took a trip that I wanted to just jot down some memories for. So I'm keeping this relatively plain, but I am adding a fun little flip that we'll be putting on here as well. So I'm just gluing down the side pages so that I am prepping the back pages for what I'm going to end up putting on top. And I'm doing on the left side, I have that nice tall list there that I decided to use for my journaling, and I am cutting out another one of the tabs that I thought would be fun to put on the top as sort of the flip to open that out. This is the tab that has the word remember already on it, and you'll see in a minute after I get it cut out, I am going to stamp onto it the word March. So it says Remember March. I thought that was a perfect little title to put my journaling on for the month of March. And now I've decided that when I cut this out, the back of this list is bright white, and so I have some of this cream paper that I thought would line the back of that nicely. I'm just going to glue that down, and I'm trying to do good coverage with this glue since I'm not going to do any sewing or anything. I'm going to put glue as, cover the whole list as best I can, the whole journal card there. And I'm just putting it on a piece of paper, and I'm going to smooth it down, and that adds some stability to my tip in there that I'm working on. So now I'm just going to cut it out, and then once I do that, I'll add some distress, and I will put the tab on the top that says Remember March. Now to make the flap, I'm going to use washi tape. So a lot of times I'll use paper, and I will just, use like an inch wide piece of paper and glue it on and then fold it in half to make the hinge for my flap. But I decided to use some washi tape since I used that on the page before. I thought it would be fun to sort of continue that. So I'm adding a piece of washi tape to each side of the journal card here, and I cut it off a little too long, so I'm trying to get that all squared away. And then I'm just folding the hinge in half, and then you can see I'm going to put the tab at the top after I round the corners, of course. And now to add the flip to the page, first I'm just kind of lining it up to make sure I didn't want it sticking out on either end. And then I'm just adding some glue to the back side of the hinge there. And then I'm just going to line it up with the edge as best I can. And I will hold that down for a minute to make sure that holds in place. And I think that turned out really well. Now I'm just cutting out another tab. I thought it would be fun to add one more tab since I put Remember March on the left-hand side for my monthly wrap-up. I thought it would be fun to add another tab for April that sort of introduced the month, and so I'm going to stamp on this tab Hello April, and I'm going to put that on the bottom of the right-hand side page so that it will stick out a little bit as well, and I'll be able to quickly find where April is in my book. And now I'm just going to do the other side, and I'm using the same paper that I started with on the left-hand side. And so I'm just once again marking where I need to cut this down so that it fits inside my book, and then I'm going to glue that down as well. Now I'm keeping this April cover page nice and simple, and so I decided to just use one of the smaller journal cards and some washi tape. I'm just going to use some washi tape to hold it down, and this washi tape has some butterflies in black, and I thought that added some nice contrast to the page before I got going there. So I'm just going to, I'm not even putting any glue on the back of the card, I'm just sticking right with the washi tape right down on there. And then the last thing I'll do here is I will add in my tab. So I'm just going to glue it to the bottom part of the page there. And then now the last thing I'm going to do is add a quote to my cover page. And I decided to use the quote, "Spring is a lovely reminder of how beautiful change can truly be." And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on. I don't think I show you the whole, I cut out a little bit of this because it did take me a while to stamp all that on there. And when I look back at it now, I probably should have stamped on the card before I put it into the book, just because the book is very soft and there's a lot of extra little marks. Now I will say I do like, the imperfect look, so I'm certainly not very concerned about it. But there's it definitely looks like a veteran typewriter when I got done with it, but I like veteran typewriters, so I think that worked out fine. All right, now you can see I'm just finishing up the quote right now, and I am going to call this good. So there's plenty of room on these pages for me to add more collage or ephemera if I want to down the road, but I was under some time constraints this week and I wanted to have something done. So I think it's a really good reminder that it doesn't have to be a lot, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. You can do as little or as much as you want. and I was just showing you sort of the pages that we completed there. I have my week done, I have a list ready to go, I have my March wrap-up there, and then I have my April cover page. And we are good. I hope you enjoyed this video, friends. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.